Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. We are going to continue reviewing some more Arteza products. So Arteza sent me these TwiMarkers or TwiMarkers. I have no idea how to say it. You'll figure that out during this video. Also, we're going to be looking at these water brushes. They come in a set of 6 and they have different ends on them. And so we're going to see how those fare and if we like them. And then also using some of this 140-pound Arteza watercolor cardstock paper. It's 100% cotton. So we're going to look at these 3 products throughout the video. As always, it's important that you know that disclaimer right up front. I do get these products sent to me by Arteza. I give an honest review. I provide feedback to the company. So if anything I didn't answer here, please let me know and I will get you an answer or at least reach out to them for that. So let's get started. Hello everybody. We are going to look at a couple things today. Arteza sent me the water brush pens. So we're going to take a look at those and I wish I knew how to say it. I need like that little microphone on Google. TwiMarkers? I don't know how to say it, so let's pick one. TwiMarkers. But see, I think twin, like twin markers. TwiMarkers. Anyway, okay, so these, I'm going to go over the water brush pens first, and then we'll talk about the TwiMarkers. That's what I'm calling them. They just got a new name. Here we have this marker here. They come in a set of 6 and there's a variety of sizes. So one thing I noticed right off the bat, which is a little bit different than the one I always use, was that it has this centerpiece here for the push button, which basically they all do. They have a little area here that says push, but this is the one I always use and it's really thin. So I like it. It doesn't disperse too much water, but it is good. But it's not anything super fancy. And I don't have a variety of sizes in the one that I have. So Arteza has these multiple sizes here. I may have overfilled them. That might be operator error. But we have, I'm going to take the caps off so we can see the different sizes. Okay, so what we can do here, this is Arteza watercolor. This is the 140-pound Arteza. You get 14 sheets of it. It is 100% cotton, double-sided cold press, ideal for watercolor techniques and mixed media. I really, really like this paper. I like the way that my, card making and paper crafting, it works really nicely for what I do. So here I have the paper and the brushes. So let's get a coloring medium. Well, since the TwiMarkers are going to be supposed to be water-based and blendable, what we can do is kind of play with those a little bit. So I'm just going to pull out this one. We'll get more into details in it in a second, but it's non-toxic water-based blendable. And this one is ruby red. So I'm just going to color that along on my glass mat. Let's just do push out a little bit of water so it's wet, and then we'll just go onto the paper. So I squeezed out water on the paper, so let's see how that's the wet on dry technique. Okay, so that's how thin that one is, and I'm just wiping it off on a paper towel off to the side. So let's do another one. This one is soft and a little square. Okay, so that's that size. This would be, I guess, what did I say? This was like the medium. So we can see there we get a nice brush stroke. I do like that. You get a nice wide stroke. That's pretty. And then the extra large. I have totally just named these markers or these pens myself. They probably have sizes on them. I did not look. Okay, let's get our brush wet. And there's the large one. Okay, very good. So we kind of got to see as it was coming out what sizes we had working with us. So that's the markers. So what do I notice different about them? You still have to basically unscrew it, put your water in, then you screw it back on, and the push just lets you know to push out a little bit of water. I'm going to play with them because I'm not sure if they're going to leak on me. I don't like leaky brushes because then I can't control what I'm doing with watercoloring. So that's one thing to consider. Okay, so let's talk about the TwiMarkers. Okay, so they come in this case right here. You get 100 colors. They say 100 unique colors, water-based ink, and blendable. Compact, ideal for watercoloring techniques and journaling. Fine tip is 0.4 millimeters, and then there's a brush tip. Okay, these are all the colors. You have a helpful tips bar here. Okay, and then a list of all of your colors. They list them by number and name, and there are a lot of colors. Pretty much any color you could imagine is in here, and if not, you could probably mix it. So I never liked the plastic case that they come in with this and the real brush pens. I feel like there could be a little bit more of a sturdy case. They do so with the Arteza Everblend, so it'd be nice to see something. They probably sell something that you could buy. So you have your five trays rather of these, and I'll just go through them real quick and show you. So you get 5. Now these are in the order that I think they would blend well together. I went in and swatched everything and then reordered them and then swatched them out again and named them and all that good stuff. So I went by the number of the brush marker or the TwiMarker. I did not go by the name. All right. So we'll take one out real quick and look at it. So you have the brush nib here, which is not really, I would say it's a marker nib. I don't know if, yeah, I guess a brush nib would be appropriate. It's not a real brush nib. So I think that's the difference. And then you have a very fine tip. So very fine. So that's of note. Okay, what else about this? So it has the brush on one side, also this indicator piece of plastic. And then it has the fine tip here. Again, the names, Ruby Red A114. And then the Arteza name on it. So nothing too different there. It is a clear barrel, which is nice. You can kind of see what colors you're grabbing for real quickly. So I do like that. So here I have a piece of Bristol 80-pound and Arteza. So I was very intrigued when I read that they were blendable. So we're going to test that theory out. And I have, like I said, my 3 different kinds of paper. So I'm going to take my brush nib, my water brush here, and I am going to scribble on. Now, one thing I liked about these, I've been playing with them for a little bit, is I like the firmness of the brush. I do. I think that would be really good to do some, when I eventually get good at it, some hand lettering. But for right now, I'm just going to take it and scribble it on. Very, very rich color of these markers. It goes on lots and lots of different colors. And so what I'm going to do is just touch it in the water first, and then I'm going to drag it down to see if I can get it to come out of itself, if you will. So that was pretty good. That is comparable pretty much to the real brush pens that you can do that. The problem is here, I don't want to do it too much because I'm going to start to pill up the paper. So that was good. I was impressed with that. So we'll take that as a go. On the 80-pound, we're going to see how this goes. I don't think it's going to blend very well on here. The Bristol is just awesome, and it usually blends everything pretty well. So I'm going to try it here, and as we can see, we're not getting much movement here. So that one does not blend on there. And then we'll try it on the Arteza. Oh, some people start down here with the water and work their way up into the color. I've seen that. You can do that as well. So this one blends, it blends it out. And I can keep going back over it again and again and again because it can hold all that water. So I do like that. So this 80 pound is out for blending, but let's see how they write. So again, I can put some pressure. That I don't know how to hand letter, FYI, but I can put some pressure on it. Right? So with the real brush pens, I can't do that. And then we'll show you the thin one. I think for bullet writing or planning, things like that, would be a fun tip. So 80 pound is good for writing on, but not good for blending. So we're going to put that to the side. And I'm going to assume that's going to be 110 pound as well for Nina. All right, so now I'm back to these two. So I'm going to see next how they blend with colors. But in order for me to do that, I'm going to bring over my swatch. So this is the swatch that I made. Now it's upside down, sorry. I like to do my swatches, if it's going to be something I'm not doing on the computer, I like to do the swatches with something fun. I'd used a coffee cup before, but I like to do, so I picked my little paint tubes and I did all 100 colors. Okay, so not perfect, but I have to tell you the chemical makeup of these markers feels very similar to the real brush pens. The main difference is going to be that you have two ends and that you have a more firm nib on this one, which can be very advantageous for certain artistic craft. So yeah, as you can see, lots and lots of colors here, just a whole array. I reordered them the best I could, and I started with the reds into the reddish oranges, down into orange, yellow, and so on and so forth. It got a little fuzzy down here with these three, but at the same time, even though it's not perfect, I can still pull it out and look at it and decide which ones I want to grab. So I think what I'll do is take them out of their cases until I get a better case, and I will most likely bundle them by the blendable colors. And so that way they'll just be easier to use, and I'll use them more. If I find something's difficult to get out and get to work with, I won't do it. So there's my swatch. I will put a still picture of this swatch over on my blog if you want to go ahead and check it out, or you can just pause the video and take a snapshot of that from here. So either way. So we're going to see how well they blend, and I'm going to choose, let's go for this dark red, and then we're going to choose the 235. Again, they have names on them, but I just found the names to be a little bit cumbersome. These are the colors, the rainbow colors that I chose to see if we can get any sort of blending with them. Okay, so I kept this part in here just so you can see after I put the color down on the Bristol Smooth, I took my water brush and kind of just blended them out. And they blended really well. I mean, it's Bristol Smooth, so it's going to do that. And then on the watercolor paper, same thing. You just don't want to let them dry too long because I noticed that was a little bit more difficult to get them to move. So beautiful, beautiful. They really do. They blend. I would say for these markers, I would say that those are some vibrant colors. Can you see that? I'm going to take a look and see if it comes across on the thing. Yeah, that's some vibrant color action right there. So really fun. A ton of colors, like I said, so they're really good. All right, so how do I feel about these markers? Well, I think they're going to be a nice addition for certain kind of coloring. So I am going to do a voiceover here in a couple minutes, and I'm going to do some coloring with them just to see how they fare when it comes to actually making a project, because swatching is fun, but you got to see where the rubber meets the road. So we'll take a look at that, and then I'll give you my overall opinion. All right, so let's see how these blend. I am using Bristol Smooth cardstock here, and I am using these three colors of blue to see how I can get these to work together. So my biggest thing about these markers is that in comparison to the real brush pens, they pill paper. Honestly, I don't know if that word is pill or peel. Someone help me out. But the paper starts to come apart faster than the real brush pens on Bristol Smooth. Definitely not going to work, but you saw that result. Definitely not going to work on Nina or, you know, cardstocks that don't have sort of a coating like Bristol has, or watercolor cardstock. It's not going to work on that. It's going to start tearing up your paper almost immediately, and they do not blend together. If you want the colors to come together, you're going to have to use the right paper or cardstock. If you try to use it on just any kind of paper or cardstock, you're going to get that streaky look, and they're going to start tearing up your paper almost immediately. So as you can see here, I am pulling out these greens now, and I am now not using water at first, just kind of mixing the colors. Then I pull in my water brush, and I am going to get this super good blend. I was shocked. I didn't expect that from these markers. At the same time, I really didn't know the makeup of the marker, and like I said previously, they're very similar to the real brush pens. So when I saw the color kind of come out as I was blending, it reminded me a lot of that. The big difference is going to be the tip of the marker. So pretty much the same stuff in them, I would guess, but the medium for which they come out is different. And I really like the firmness of the brush. I do. I didn't think that it would make that much a difference to me. And honestly, if you have the real brush pens, you don't need these because you're getting pretty much the same result. But I do like that I can add them to my stash of things when I start to letter. And then also, as you can see, I'm scribbling now on my glass mat. So they scribble with more density, if that makes sense. If I took a real brush pen to my glass mat, it spreads out so much. I don't get a lot of color put down on the mat. But these, you can scribble pretty with, a lot of pressure, and you're going to get a lot of color. So I'm doing that technique now. I wanted to show that as well, at how well you can watercolor with these markers. So that's cool too. So the only problem I'm seeing with Arteza is that they're coming out with so many quality products that you kind of feel like, well, which one do I actually need? I think that's probably the biggest question even I would have if I'm watching the reviews that I'm doing and all these other creators on YouTube are doing. What do I need? If you're a new crafter and you want to put your, dip your toe into watercoloring, which of these, all of these Arteza products that I have reviewed would be the go-to first? I think that's an important question to answer. And this is a tough one because I really feel like I'm splitting hairs with these. I'm looking at, so you have the watercolor tubes that I reviewed, which are amazing. Those colors are so creamy and so vibrant, but there's a little bit of control that you lose using watercolor, either palette or tubes. So let's say for beginners, we're going to go between these markers and the real brush. Splitting hairs, I would say probably these markers because, as you can see, I'm getting really fun watercolor effects in this technique. I also can put them straight to paper to blend in my images. There's a firm nib so that I could do a couple different techniques with them. Again, I'm trying to be versatile with the products that I have and get as much use as I can. You could probably brush letter with the real brush pens as well. If you are, if you're good at that. I don't know. I can't do it yet. So just again, I go back to my opinion, and it's splitting hairs because I love both of them. I love the price points. These, you're getting 100 markers for $55.89, and there's a 10% coupon below that Arteza gave me to give you. So there's that, and I think the real brush pens for the 96 set is slightly more expensive, but not by much at all. So we're talking $59 for the 96 set. So, I think Arteza even realizes they might be pretty similar, just the way that they're coming out. Plus, you're going to get dual sides on these markers. So don't forget about that either, because the real brush pens only have the one side. So it's very difficult for me to advise you in one direction or the other. All I can do is put out the information and kind of look at what your needs are and what you want to try if you're interested in getting something like this. So I will leave that up to you. Good luck. They're all great. So that'll do it for this review. Thank you so much for hanging in with me and for checking this review out. If you have any questions at all, please comment below and I will get the answer to you as fast as possible. Also, if you have these markers, let me know what you think of them. I'm very curious. And lastly, as always, I always want to encourage you to use what you have to try to get multiple uses out of what you have and not to feel any pressure whatsoever to go get the latest and greatest. This is just a review for those of you that might be interested in seeing how they work or what the products are all about. Thanks so much. I'll list what I used below and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.